Hello, hello. Welcome back to another episode of the Purposeful Powerhouse podcast. But before we get into today's episode, have you grabbed your spot for the Sanity Saver series yet? To preserve what is left of your sanity. Just kidding, but maybe not. So what we're going to be doing over the course of those 3 days, you're going to get access to a 15-minute Rise and Vibe session, which in just 15 minutes is going to weave together so many things that could probably take you hours to do if you let them, so that you can pour into yourself first, so that you can stop wasting time and energy on things that don't work or are just part of the solution, by truly calming the crazy and showing up each day as your purposeful powerhouse CEO self. So it's brand new. You're going to love it. Make sure to grab your spot. Make sure to share it with somebody that is an entrepreneur on a big mission, who knows that you are the driving force in your business and that your energy is everything. And why keep leaving it up to chance? It's time to take matters into your own hands. That's what it's all about. So feel free to spread the love and share this episode, or just grab the link and share it with people. I would love and appreciate that. And I know that they would too. So make sure to grab your spot, because we're kicking off on September 16th. So what are we talking about today? Well, we're talking about you, darling, how you are uniquely, incredibly, specifically designed to do what it is that your heart is calling you to do. I believe entrepreneurs, as a species and as a group, we're our own kind of crazy. Just a little bit. Just humor me for a second. We're our own kind of crazy. I mean, it takes a lot of chutzpah. It takes a lot of willingness. It takes a lot of commitment. It takes a lot of determination and resilience to do what you do, right? And the way that you give up, and the way that you give, and the way that you show up, and the way that you serve, and the way that you pour into your community, the way that you write your emails and do your content and lead your global movement of change, if that's your thing. Maybe you're writing books. I don't know. What are you doing? But you're the one that gets to do that. Those seeds of possibility have been planted in your heart. And it's really a matter of nurturing that relationship to your inspiration, to your guidance, to the true self. Because when it comes to entrepreneurship, as creative and incredible as we are, it can get a little stressful sometimes, just a little bit sometimes. And when we go into that stress state of being, we basically close off access to the higher mind and inspiration, because we're in survival mode. And so when we wake up first thing in the morning and we go right into survival mode, we go right into stress, we are missing a major opportunity to tap into inspiration, to tap into that intuitive guidance, to tap into the most magnetic, confident, energized, hopeful, happy, positive, vibrant version of you. If we just grab our phone and we get going, right? Powered by oat milk lattes and some trail mix here and there. Not calling you out, but I might be, because I seem to be hitting the head on that one. But the thing is that is a very finite resource, and your energy, your essence is infinite. And so it's a matter of tapping back into that bigger version of you. Because when we're experiencing the stress state of, being in a launch, for example, and all the million things, and then the website crashes and this, that, and the other thing, it can really derail us. And we go quickly into that fear dialogue running in our head. And we contract, we get restricted, we get into resistance, and we shut ourselves off from possibility, from that expansive, hopeful, inspired place. And so if we're constantly living in that state, what are we missing out on, right? What potential opportunities are just flying over our head if we're not even available to see them because we are stressed AF? And I mean, that in and of itself is a lot, right? And it's not for the average Yogi Bear. But then there's the whole reality of life, right? Life keeps happening. Maybe it's stuff with your partner or your mom or in your community or in the world. Like, it's just a lot. And so in order for us to truly be able to not just thrive and survive, but to feel so amazing that you look around and you're like, what is this? Am I living in my vision board right now? My life was so incredible. It really takes that intentional start to the day. And that's why I'm such a huge proponent of amplifying your morning routine, which is what you're going to learn how to do in the Sanity Saver series. And we're going to dive deep into the 3 pillars of amplifying your morning routine. And you're going to get tools to do that with the Rise and Vibe sessions that you'll get each day. Because when it comes down to it, as amazing and complex as you are as a human and as a spiritual being having a human experience, there's some core elements that are foundational to you, your mind, your body, your spirit, right? And this might seem like, hello, of course, Megan, I know that. But the thing is, we know that, and then we're like, yeah, up and away, let's go. What's the next thing, right? And we tend to skip over the stuff that really matters, and that is the juice of doing all of those other incredible things. Because when you are nourished, when you're pouring into yourself first, you're able to serve from a place of overflow. You're not depleted. You're not resentful. You're not ready to throw in the towel for real this time when something happens. Because believe me when I say I've been there, right? I've been there many times over. If you've listened to any of these episodes, you'll know that I get that. And that's why I'm so passionate about shifting the conversation around how we show up and run our businesses so that it's in a more sustainable way, so that it's in a more holistic way. And here's the kicker, the real gold, so that it's in a more enjoyable way, because you are in joy. And that's not necessarily all the time. I mean, I'm all about the rainbows and the unicorns, but I'm also a realist. I know that that's not an all the time thing, but it's a matter of learning how to reset when we catch ourselves on that fear track and when we're, in the stress. And that's what, many people, you're sharing that you're loving the Entrepreneur Freakout Prevention session. That's a 5-minute movement session to help you reset your energy and just drop back into that place of groundedness and focus and clarity. So if you haven't grabbed that yet, we'll link it up in the show notes. And so how do you amplify your morning routine beyond adding more caffeine to the cup? Because that ain't what we're talking about today. And I'm an advocate. I love coffee. I'm not going to lie. All good. I'm not saying you can never drink coffee again. By no means. I'm saying that there are natural resources that you can replenish, right? That are so essential for the long-term trajectory of your mission, your movement, your magical things that you're doing in the world, but also are the fuel to actually enjoying each day, right? We've all heard that saying of like, someday you'll look back and you'll realize that the little things were the big things. And that's it, is how can we savor these little moments? We're not placing our happiness on this conditional, far away, impossible to achieve moment. It's now. And it's that decision to prioritize how you feel and show up for yourself every day. And that's the movement. That's the Rise and Vibe movement. That's what it's all about, is you caring so much about how you feel that you show up for yourself because it matters, because you know that you're the fuel. So how do you amplify your morning routine? So it's not grabbing your phone first thing, scrolling till you get triggered, then trying to meditate, mentally pacing back and forth until you're like, screw this, I already made my to-do list, now let's get going. That's not it, because that might be what you're doing. It's not checking your emails, realizing you missed a training session that you need to get caught up on, jumping on the elliptical and doing your cardio while you're catching up on the training session. It's not that either, right? It's not that. And it's not just saying, yeah, you know what? I've got so much to do. My morning routine is really important to me, but this is, my to-do list is jacked and stacked for the day and I just got to get going, and amplifying it by slamming the biggest cup of coffee. No, none of those are what I mean. But they may be things that you're doing. Let me know in the DM if I have at all got close to your reality, because how do I know these things? I don't know. Just take a wild guess. Yeah, because I did it for a long time. You're clever. I know you knew the answer already. And I know that it's a common thing for a lot of people. So there's 3 pillars to amplifying your morning routine. And essentially they break down to your mind, your body, and your spirit. The first one is to align your mind. It is so important that you are intimately connected with your vision and the version of you that lives in your vision, because that's your guiding light. That is the version of you that you are becoming, that you can ask the questions to when you're not sure what to do, that knows what you would do if you had all the things that you want and how you would show up and who you would be, because that version of you is that. So how can you align your mind to that? How can you drop into the energy of what it's going to feel like when you have 100 new people join you inside your incredible program, and you get to change the lives of them, and then all the people that they get to serve get to benefit from their happy, joyous mood, and then their families are happier, and that sort of that ripple effect. That's what we want to get into. That's what we want to align our mind to. That's really the juice, if you will, of the vision. And we saw, incredible examples of this during the Olympics, and you've heard about this before. It's visualization, because your mind doesn't know the difference between 3D reality and something that you're doing in your head. And so when you're doing it in your head and you're dropping into that energy and you're carrying yourself with that confidence and you are speaking to yourself in a different way, you've evolved your identity, because your identity is the driving force in everything. But yet if we're seeing ourselves from this current identity of, I'll just use the past one for me, a broke yoga teacher who can't seem to get things going, that's how I saw myself. That's very different than somebody who's leading a global movement of change. You feel me on that? Because I certainly can feel the difference. So identity level evolution, and that's what aligning your mind is all about. And so when we get into that energy of the vision, or what we call in the Rise and Vibe movement, the vibe of your vision, what is that? How does that feel? Who's that you? Who's that you? I always have to sing a little something. It's a thing. So align your mind. And that can be visualization, that can be journaling, that can be tapping, that can be prayer, whatever floats your little boat. See, and then I make up songs. So whatever floats your boat. Okay. So we want to use the power of your mind. And so what you're doing there, in addition to familiarizing yourself with it, is you are creating safety around the vision. Because remember, when something is new and unfamiliar, then it's potentially perceived as threatening. And that's when our self-protective, self-sabotage mechanisms kick in, right? If our brain sees that we're about to do something, stretch ourselves, that's when it goes to the old fun habits of self-doubt, pulls out the old familiar, very useful one in my case of, no one's going to sign up. I don't even know why you're doing this. See, nobody cares. Nobody's signing up. What are you doing? And that sort of doubt that then spirals into heavy restricted emotions. And what happens then, right? You're not in alignment with, and you're not in the frequency of what you desire. So you're not a match for it. Okay. So familiarizing it through visualization, through journaling, whatever it is you like to do, it's, essentially manifestation tools, gives your brain that felt sense of it, because you're feeling it in your body. And that's really important, is that you must incorporate your body, because in order to make shifts at the level of your nervous system, at the level of your subconscious mind, which is your nervous system, it needs to happen in your body. And so that's very important, that you get into the feeling of it. And that leads us to the second pillar, which is move your body. Move your body in a way that allows you to fully embody that energy. Move your body in a way that leaves you feeling powerful, that shows that you can do challenging things, that you can maintain a sense of calm while you're in a challenging pose, which is what yoga helps us to do, right? Think about warrior poses. If you think about it and you're in there for 3.5 minutes or however long, and you start shaking a little bit and you're like, what are we even doing? Why do we have to hold this pose forever? That's not being present in the pose. That's our mind pulling us out. So how can you stay present in the strength of the moment and rise to the challenge, but still hold that soft curiosity, that still hold the breath even and smooth? So yes, it's beautiful to be able to do a mean warrior pose or whatever it is, but really it's training your ability to do that when your website crashes in the middle of your launch, when your Slack notifications are blowing up and you're like, one more notification and I'm going to throw this damn computer. That's where that tool set comes in handy. So moving your body in a way that fully energizes you, because it's such a powerful force for nourishment to the brain, right? We see and we know levels of productivity, performance, positivity all drastically improve after we've exercised. You felt that, right? You felt that and you're like, yeah, look at me go. Feeling all sorts of good after you've done your yoga or your workout or what have you. Okay? So that's the second pillar, move your body. And when you join us for the Sanity Saver series, I'm going to teach you a way to really up-level that. So make sure to join us for that. And then finally, what's happening when you're using your mind in that intentional way, when you're moving your body and you're incorporating these elements of the elevated emotional state of your vision, and you're getting into the vibe of the vision, and you're really intentionally choosing how you want to feel, you are rewiring your system. You're rewiring your subconscious mind, you're shifting your nervous system to be aligned to the vision, to be aligned to the version of you that you're being called to expand into or up level into, right? And so that happens when you do those other components, and it happens through repetition. And that's how we begin to truly change ourselves at the deepest level, first of the nervous system, but also on a neural level. We're repatterning your beliefs and your stories and your responses to things at the level of your brain. You're literally creating new neurons, new brain cells, right? And so, side note, tangent, is that when we exercise, it actually encourages new brain cells to grow. And when we meditate, it helps those brain cells to mature. So keeping your brain healthy from a structural and functional perspective as well. Okay, because, it's kind of important. So, not something that people are like, yeah, I want to keep my brain healthy, until your grandmother gets Alzheimer's and you freak out and you start to learn about these things, because we all have a brain. And, while we don't think about it, yuck, it's actually so important. And so there's that as well. And so rewiring your system, and what you're doing there is you're allowing yourself to really fully experience that energy, that frequency, that way of being, dropping into it purposefully so that you can co-create and show up from that place each day. And you do that consistently, right? What we practice, we become. You do that consistently. And it's actually rewiring you at the level of your identity, of your beliefs, of your stories, your inner dialogue, because you are shifting what is happening inside of you on the brain level, but on the nervous system level. And so when you are literally filling your cup, not literally, figuratively filling your cup by doing these things that nourish your body, your mind, and your spirit, right? Those are the three pillars. Align your mind, move your body, rewire your system. You are able to pour into others because you pour into yourself first. You're giving yourself that experience of that deep connection to self, of feeling that sense of accomplishment, which then of course releases dopamine, which then leads you more into action and motivation through the day. Oxytocin helps you to sleep better, right? It helps you to be a happier person to be around, regulates your serotonin levels, your melatonin levels. Like it's inside and outside, there's so many benefits for you to be doing this, but ultimately it's about how you feel. And that's really why it becomes a non-negotiable for people inside the Rise and Vibe movement and my clients and people that I get to support, because it's how you feel that matters. That's really what it's all about, because you're the one, right? Last week, we talked about how you're the one to fulfill this mission. You're the one to live into this vision. It's you. No one can do that for you. I can encourage you to do the squats, but I can't do the squats for you, right? You can get the download of the vision, but no one's going to do it the way that you do it. And in order for you to do it, you got to feel like it's something that you're wanting to do in the way that you show up. Because as important as it is for us to have goals and get to that, the evolution that comes from the goal, it's really about the journey to get there, right? To be very cliche with it all. But it's that recognition of, can we begin to savor each moment? Can you begin to savor each new day because it's a gift? Can you begin to celebrate each new day in a way that allows you to take care of yourself and really amplify and power up all parts of your day by creating a morning routine that is uniquely yours using these core pillars? That's really what it comes down to, because your energy is everything. You're the driving force, but sometimes we leave it up to chance. And we leave it up to maybe later, I'll get to it. But when you take matters into your own hands and you have the tools, right, which you'll get at Sanity Savers, Sanity Saver, excuse me, Savers used to be a store here, you'll be able to use these tools and be rising and vibing every day. So I'm so excited for you to join us. Reach out with any questions. Make sure to check out the link in the show notes because we are kicking off September 16th, and I would really love for you to be there because the way you start your day matters, and it directly impacts how incredible your day is and how you feel, right? And before you go, this doesn't have to happen at 5 a.m. Let me just say that, right? Because I know some people are like, morning routines, boring. No, this is for you. Okay, so if it's at 11 o'clock, that's perfect. If it's 2 o'clock, hey, whatever, it's all good. It's the act of doing it. And it's also, sometimes we hear like these really arbitrary, formulaic, has to be XYZ to be morning routine for successful people. No, in order for it to be successful, it has to be something that you're going to use. So it's not, one of those push till you puke and got to do it at 5 a.m. and nonsense. That's nonsense. That doesn't support you as who you are. So make it your own, love it, do it, make it a pattern, make it a habit, right? Because our success and our failure is largely a result of our habits. And so using these tools to create that habit for yourself or to really fortify that if you already have it is what we are doing in the Sanity Saver series. So would love to have you join us. And until next time, thank you for using your beautiful mind to do what you're doing here in the world, to think on purpose, to move your body on purpose so that you can show up as your purposeful powerhouse CEO self every day, or as often as you can, because, life happens sometimes and it's all good. But love you lots. Take good care. Bye.